Live in studio on Mic Hits 103.1, and I got the owner of the K-Town Raptors here, my man Anthony Kendrick. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing fine.
Doing fine. Now you're doing all right, but you got some serious stuff going on right about now, man. With Justice of the Peace Daryl Peters, of course, the story here in the CTX is Justice of the Peace Daryl Peters there's been allegations lobbied against him for theft. And I want to be clear before we start talking with Mr. Kendrick that we have reached out to Justice of the Peace Peters' office. His secretary told us that he will be out of town until next Wednesday. He has an open opportunity to come through and talk about this, and we give him the opportunity to share his side of the story. He has declined at this time, so we will get back to that at some point. Hopefully next week he'll respond to our calls for a request for an interview. But right now I got Mr. Kendrick here, and Mr. Kendrick, tell us, you're the owner of the K-Town Raptors. What exactly do you guys do with the organization?
As the owner of the K-Town Raptors, it's a sports organization. We have football, cheer, track, and basketball in the organization. Mm-hmm. Just providing a reasonable price for parents mm-hmm. to come out and have their kids play sports.
And how long you been doing this for now?
The K-Town Raptors has been around. We was established in December of 2015, so we're going into our fourth year mm-hmm. of participation.
Okay. So how did you and Justice of the Peace Peters started working together? Because you guys seem to have a tight relationship over the years.
Well, me and Mr. Peters, well, of course we met on the football field. Him being a referee, I'm being a coach, and I've been coaching around here now for over 10 years. Then it developed into a more of a friendship. Well, I started wanting to understand the benefits of voting mm-hmm, and all of that, and he was already in, and so I kind of attached myself onto that because initially I didn't know the importance of voting. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Let me just tell you, I didn't care
about
voting,
of course,
and I didn't understand the dynamics of it, that it actually starts at the lower level, mm-hmm. Where you can really make changes, and I got to credit him for that. He opened my eyes to something that I started enforcing my friends. I'd be like, hey man, you ain't came up here and voted yet. They say, how you know? I said, we got a voter's registration right here and you ain't came and voted.
Right.
And I'm in your precinct.
Right.
So, y'all need to come out and vote and do what you're supposed to do.
Right. Justice of the Peace Peters sort of introduced you to politics, the world of politics, and guiding you to vote and stuff like that. And I read somewhere that you really considered him a mentor at this point.
Yes. I consider Mr. Peters a mentor and a father figure because my father wasn't in my life until I turned 39. That's when I really started having conversations with my father, and so that developed into a deep relationship.
Right.
Father-son type relationship. I looked up to him.
Right. So I guess fast forward into now, how did he get involved with the K-Town Raptors organization as far as because we want to trace it back to the beginning and start from there. How did he first start getting involved with your organization?
Okay, Mr. Peters, he runs what is called JCI, mm-hmm. Sports Management,
okay,
which he handles the referees for youth football games in this area.
Okay, and
so that's kind of how we got involved with me doing other community projects with him. Then I started saying, hey man, I'm thinking about doing this tournament, the first one in Killeen, and I'm gonna need referees, mm-hmm. and that's how it kind of went from there.
Okay, and when did I guess the next question I have is, when did you started noticing any kind of improprieties with the situation between you and Mr. Peters?
Okay, the standard is we normally take the money from the gate mm-hmm. and we pay the referees. And we pay the referees, the head referee, halftime of the last game. Mm-hmm. That's the standard that's always been around here since I've been in Killeen. So after I paid Mr. Peters, and I told him I didn't have no more big bills with me, and I was trying to give him some smaller bills, mm-hmm. $1 bills. He didn't want the $1 bill. He said, man, you make it think, man, I've been in the strip club. I said, money is money.
Right, right.
And, you know, at the time, my concession stand manager, she was standing right there, and he asked her, you know, is she the treasurer? And she told him, no, she's not the treasurer. She just runs the concession stand.
Right.
And, you know, I gave Mr. Peters at that time, which I thought was $800. You know, I counted it out. He came back to me. He gave me a call later on that evening, and he said it was only $790.
Right.
And you still owe me $210. And you know, at that time, let's step back just a little bit. The referees were out there after I had paid him, and after the last game, you know, the referee was basically like, hey, we didn't get paid for this. We did this for free. And I'm like, what did he just say? So I asked one of my friends, I said, did you just hear what I just heard?
Right.
And he said, I sure did hear it. And because the referee was explaining a call to one of the coaches, and that a coach on another team, not to mention that team, they was being a little outraged. And, you know, he was explaining to him that, you know, during the regular season, you going to get kicked out.
Right.
You know, you being outraged like that. And then, so I had a problem with it. And so after that, I text Mr. Peters, because something just told me in my heart, it's time to start keeping a dialogue.
Right.
And if we talk on the phone, that's one thing. And I said, but if I got it in text, it's a different thing.
Right.
So, and I said, hey, Mr. Peters, I got word from several of the referees that they didn't get paid for this event. He texts me in a text message that I have.
Right.
The referees will get paid when you give me the rest of the money.
Okay.
So I said to myself, I said, okay, so maybe what I heard wasn't true.
Right. Right.
Wasn't true.
Right. Of course.
So then I went and got a money order for $210, which I have a copy of, and on that it states 210 of 1,000. Because he had already got the 790 that he told me it was short, it wasn't 800. So that's what the money order states. And so I went to Mr. Peters' office. And so when we got there, I was like, so Mr. Peters, these referees, people still telling me they not getting paid. They did this for free.
Right.
And now I want to know from you, what's what? He looked me in my eyes and he lied to me. The lie that he told me was, hey, he started stuttering. Normally when a person starts stuttering, they lie.
Right.
So he started stuttering, and he said, I donated money to the soup kitchen downtown, and I gave money to parents to go buy their kids' book bag. Now, that second part I knew was a lie from the jump, because I've been involved in book bag drives.
Right.
And what we do is we buy the book bags, we put the supplies in the bag, and then we give them out to the people in the community. So right there, that was one red flag. And so while I was in his office, I just was shaking my head. He said, man, I know you just wondering about your money and this, but I tell you, I made the donation in the name of the K-Town Raptors. That's how he was talking. He was stuttering. And they thank you for your donation down at the soup kitchen. And the people who we gave the book bags to, who I gave the money to, they thank you for your donation. So I decided, let me do a little more investigation. I went over to the soup kitchen, kept going for about a week. I finally got in touch with one of the head ladies that's there.
Right.
And I started having phone conversations with her and a few of the other ladies that was there. They checked their books. There was no record of a Daryl Peters making a donation. There was no record of a donation being made in the name of the K-Town Raptors, and or any of that.
Well, let me ask you this before we move on. When he told you that he made the donation, did you object to that? Because
yes,
because from what I'm hearing, that's not what you asked him to do with that money.
Exactly. So with all of that being said, I sent him a long email, which I have a copy of the email, and I said, basically, that was theft by deception. Due to the fact I paid you for referees,
right?
Not for you to donate money. And you turned around, you telling me you donated the money, but there's no proof that you donated the money.
Right.
And I, man to man, looked him in the face, and I said, hey man, just return the money.
Right.
Return the money. I said, because that means you got me this year for $1,000, and you got me last year for $1,300. So it was 2 years in a row. And I said, just return the money, man. That's it.
Now, of course, some folks, some folks might be watching, might say, have the question, that's what checks are for. Why not write them a check? Or why keep giving them cash? Is that something that maybe...
I got that, and you're right. A lot of people, and I learned a very, very, very valuable lesson with that. Everybody was so used to the norm is you take the money that you pretty much make at the gate, and you pay the referees in cash. Right. And so everybody, it was the norm. Since I've been here in Killeen, coaching youth football, that's always been the norm. Okay. And so the norm don't make it right. Right, absolutely. And once all of that started happening, even something else popped up out of that, even dealing with our league. I basically told the league commissioner, I don't want no more dealings with Mr. Peters. Right. Excuse me. And I said, I will not be paying any referees in cash. It will be in a money order, cashier's check, or a check from the organization. No more cash transactions, because as a nonprofit, I can't get burnt. Right. And then, one of the reasons why I said that, in Mr. Peters' office, Mr. Peters told me, you gave me cash. You can't prove you gave me any money. See. So, and that really... You kind of... It hurt me that he would say that, and I say, man, I thought we was better than this. But they always say money will change a person. Yes.
What I'm looking at is a case of someone taking advantage of your trust of them, and it's unfortunate and it's sad to see it, especially coming from someone that is in a position of power of some sorts in our community. Yes. You hate to see that, but of course, I got to play the devil's advocate. I got to ask the questions that a lot of people who may not agree with you saying this. A lot of people feel like this is some sort of attempt to try to get him out of office or disgrace this man from his position. What do you say to that?
I would look at the cameras. I have no reason to disgrace Mr. Peters. What Mr. Peters did, he disgraced himself by taking the money up under false pretext. And even the referees, they thought what he did was wrong, because they said, we didn't know he was getting paid and paid for the referees. So I'm not trying to defame his character. He did a great job of doing that himself when he decided he would come up with this elaborate plan. I would have never knew anything about it. I'm just walking and I hear a referee that is there at that field that day to say, we didn't get paid. I did this for free. This is training. Right. And so it made me feel like, dang, I just got. Right. It made me feel the same way when I worked overseas and I got identity theft. I'm on a plane and $7,000 got stolen. Wow. So it made me feel just like that, like, ain't nothing I can, I thought about it, ain't nothing I can do about it. And so, I slept on it. I thought long and hard, man. It was something.
It's a trying situation.
It was how we call it, what I learned in the military, and I'm tearing up just from that. It was an ethical dilemma, man. And like I say, I looked at him as a father figure, and for your father to do something like that, someone that you look at like that, it hurts. It hurts, and I mean it blew me away.
Right. You want to get your phone on? I can't see who. But
yeah, man. So I mean that hurt, and I work out here in this community doing other things besides football. We just recently started. We're getting ready to do a symposium. We want to educate, just not just young black men in the community, all men, young men in the community, on things what to do when the police stopped you, what to say.
Of course.
Don't take off running, don't do any of that, don't make no sudden moves. So there's many things that I do out in the community, but behind the scenes. And I mean, just with him saying that, it brought me back to just one of the reasons why we gonna do some other things in the community, like mentorship and everything. When I watched the movie about the kids in New York, Central Park, when the father told the child to lie, I mean that hurt me to my heart.
Right.
And I mean, it hurts.
Right.
It just.
So this, of course, again, then let me be clear on this once again, ladies and gentlemen, as we talk to Mr. Kendrick here, these once again are allegations. We reached out to, once again, to Mr. Peters' office. He has not responded yet. He said he will be back next week. Again, the door is open for him to respond to anything that's being said on this interview today. But right now, what is your current course of action? How can you, what can you do to hold him accountable?
What I've currently did is I filed a suit in Killeen in civil. I filed a civil suit for $2,300.
Okay.
The money that the organization is out of. Currently, right now, I'm waiting on a date.
Okay.
But I also got word that to prevent conflict of interest, because he is a justice of the peace in Killeen, they will be moving it to Copper's Cove,
Coryell County.
Right.
Okay.
So they're gonna move it there, and so I'm just waiting to get the date and time, and we're gonna go to court and everything. So.
And it's sad that it comes to this. I can see the tears in your eyes, man. It seems really heartbreaking that it's come to this. Why did you feel it was important to speak on it and speak about it publicly?
My love for these kids out here, man. Our kids are built a little different than we was growing up. I mean, most kids. They don't know what it is to want a toy or something like that, or to even have a father in their life. And I broke the cycle with my kids.
Right, absolutely.
And my oldest son, he's doing everything he's supposed to do as a father. I'm a single father now. I got 2 kids at home, and I mean, it was just my thing to break that cycle, and I want to just be out here with these kids and tell them, no matter what's going on in life right now, life can get better.
No doubt.
I didn't grow up in no fancy house. I didn't grow up with vehicles or anything like that, but you can do that now. You have all the opportunities in the world to be whatever you want to be. It's just, you just got to set your mind to it. That's my thing that I do out here, and that's the one thing that hurts so bad, because I do this for the kids. And I mean, I spend a lot of my time out here with the kids, and I still have a son that's in high school, and I have to manage my time. I have to get there, see him. He plays football, and so it's at times it's a struggle. But you know, dealing with these kids out here, it helped me with my PTSD.
Yes. Okay.
You know, and so that's the other thing, man. It just, I'm out here with these kids. I don't have to worry about, you know, thinking about something that happened in the war. You know, so I can devote my time to these kids because it's what somebody did for me growing up.
Absolutely.
You know, and everybody always say, you know, I grew up with no color barrier. I don't have no prejudice against anybody or anything.
Okay.
And my dad, when I was growing up, was basically my football coach. He was a white guy. He came to the hood.
Right.
You know, and I still talk to that guy to this day. I started playing football when I was 6 years old. I'm 49, and I talk with this guy. Not every day, but I talk with him at least once a month. And so I do it for the kids, man.
No doubt. If folks want to get familiar with the organization, how can they get in contact with you as far as K-Town Raptors and the work that you guys do?
K-Town Raptors, we have a website. It's K-Town Raptors.com. If you just Google K-Town Raptors or youth football, the K-Town Raptors will come up along with several other organizations in Killeen.
See, I like that. You're perking up just talking about it. That's what I like about it. I see you kind of perked up like when you start. As soon as I can feel the energy, like sort of like, you know, it starts coming back to you. You start feeling good all over again.
But what I really want to say out here, just not only the K-Town Raptors, there's other organizations
of course,
here.
Yes.
And there's a lot of coaches out here that are trying to do good for these kids.
Absolutely.
And I can say there's some coaches that have been knocked down along the way, and they've changed their lifestyles, and they're out here doing it for the kids now. So, I mean, I want to shout out to all those coaches. I mean, no matter what organization you in, we all in this together because, as that old saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
So we're all in this together, and we compete against each other. But while I have this stage right now, I want to tell all of them too. Let's come together. Let's do something beautiful in Killeen. We got the showcase coming up, which showcases our youth talent and stuff like that. But it's not all about just sports too.
Right.
We have to stay on our kids to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do in school. We got that coming back in the middle school. We're gonna have coaches kind of like being out there in the middle school when they ain't got nothing. Like if they got a time off from work. So we can kind of police these kids up in the hallway, and it's like when kids see a familiar face, they kind of straighten up and walk straight. I'm also involved with Shoemaker, a mentor over there. You know,
So you're doing so much great work in the community, man. It's terrible to have someone prey upon the good work that you're doing for their own selfish gain. Again, these are once again our allegations. I want to be clear on this. Until Mr. Peters decides that he wants to come on, again, my door is always open, Mr. Peters. If you want to come in and answer to this, you're more than welcome to. But once again, K-Town Raptors, the website. We're going to end this on a positive note and make sure that we talk about the K-Town Raptors and the great work that y'all doing. And once again, give the folks one more time if they want to contact you, how they can get in contact with y'all.
Like I said, you can go to the K-Town Raptors website or even Facebook. We're on Facebook. My number's there. I ain't got to put it out here now.
Right.
My number's on the site and everything. So you call, I'm going to answer the phone. If you email, my people are going to respond to the emails.
Okay. So. No doubt. Well, Mr. Kendrick, man, I appreciate your time, man. I thank you for coming in and sharing this info from us. And once again, best of luck, man. And we hope you get this resolved, man.
Yes, sir.
But I appreciate you coming through, giving me some of your time, man. Yes, Anthony Kendrick, the K-Town Raptors. Once again, you can find more details about this story on our website at mykiss1031.com and also on our Facebook page at Kiss103.1 FM. And show some support to the K-Town Raptors. It's a great organization. No matter what side you may feel about it, support the kids. No matter how you may feel about this situation and this current story and the allegations and everything else, the court cases and all that, at the end of the day, we want to do this for the kids and be positive for the kids and be positive leaders for our kids. So please support this organization and all the other organizations that are doing great work in our community. And of course, we'll keep you updated on all the details on this story on our website at mykids1031.com. Peace.